This is gonna be a video about the challenges or being a personal trainer. So, this is just part of something I would like to talk as a trainer. I have been in the fitness industry for like almost 20 years. And as an instructor, you don't see that much. Like, you just see sometimes a person that will go to your yoga class or Pilates class and maybe forgot to turn off their phone, or sometimes you would see people that just enter the gym thinking that enter the gym, the class, my class, thinking that there's like no actual class going on, and they will start doing their own workouts. And all you have to do is just tell them like, hey, there's a class going on, if you want to stay in the class, stay. If not, we'll be done in an hour so you can come back. But as a trainer, I just feel like there's more going on than just being an instructor. So I became a trainer during COVID time, and I wasn't able to train right away because at that time, there was a big break, so everything was closed. But it did give me the opportunity to train, to learn about more about fitness, because I was already an instructor, and it was actually one of my dreams to be a trainer. Like, I always wanted to be a trainer, to train people, to help them be fit. So that's what happened. And then recently, I've been really feeling what it's like to be a trainer, like, and the challenges. Like, who would think, like, I was like, living in my world thinking like, okay, I'm an already instructor, and probably it's gonna be the same training people, but it's just really hard. And as a teacher, I've been a school teacher like almost 20 years as well. There are other challenges, challenges with behavior, and challenges with like calling parents, and parents, thinking that you're lying when we're telling them the kids are like not behaving in class or not listening to us. So there are other types of challenges. But as a trainer, I've been a trainer for more than a year. And like I said, it has been my dream. I always wanted to train. And as of now, it's not a lot. Like, it's not a lot. A year is like almost nothing. But I feel like I wanted to make this video because there are like things that are very important if you are thinking of training. And also like all the responsibilities, because you're not just gonna train perfect clients. You're gonna train people that have like medical history, a lot of stuff, like, I don't know, arthritis, osteoporosis. So many things that you already have to know in order to train them. So it's a lot of responsibility. I do get most of my clients, they are not, the healthiest. Sometimes I do have to be careful depending on their medical history. But the video of today is just gonna be about that, just talking about the challenges that we have to go through as trainers. And maybe it depends also on what gym you're working on. I don't know, like, I work in Texas, and it's been challenging. But at the same time, like, if I put it in a in a scale, like, there's a lot of wonderful parts of, like, being a trainer. But there's also like the times that you're like, oh, like, I just want to hit something. But and at the same time, you can also be hurt. Like, I feel like I'm very sensitive, so I do feel like you do get attached to your clients, especially me being a girl. Girls, we just talk a lot. And the connection that you make, I feel like my strongest connections are with women, especially because, I'm going through a very tough, time in my life. And sometimes, that subject just comes up, and we start talking. And yeah, like, you just spend so much time with these clients that you cannot help and just feel, this friendship sometimes with them. So as a trainer, I have been, giving my best, being there for my clients and everything. But I'm just like starting to go through like these new experiences that I have never been through, and it's really challenging. And I know that, every day there's something to learn. But I feel like this is very, very hard for me. Like, like today I just felt like crying. And I was like, I'm just gonna make, one of my videos. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, what are the things I've learned as a trainer, and what are like the challenges, like, and this is like part one, then I guess, challenges of being a personal trainer. And maybe, a female personal trainer, I don't know, but I know that there could be some differences. I always feel like people will mostly go for men as trainers. Like, I feel like if I ever need a trainer, I would choose a woman. I feel more comfortable with a woman training me than a man. But yeah, so let's just get into the subject of today. um how do I start? So basically, everything started good. Like, I started training people. It was great. I would, write down everything. On the back of their books, I would write, their medical history, their goals, how much they're supposed to be working out on their own, to reach their goals. And just more stuff. Like, I'm the type of person that I would like to help my clients as much as I can. With women, we also talk about, massaging, especially the area of the waist. A lot of women want to lose that area. So I will, mention like waist trainers, corsets. I would mention, massagers. I would mention lots of things that, only as girls, like, we understand. So that's that. And I do enjoy training mostly women than men. So I love training my women clients. It has been going great. I talk about stress levels. I ask them if they're taking vitamins. So there's just like this connection, this care. Maybe it's just me, but I'm very sensitive. So I feel like I care just too much. And the attachment that we have, can be maybe just for me, probably, maybe my clients are not even that attached to me, but maybe it's just me, that I get attached to them. But let's talk about back into the challenges. And this is just one of the challenges, but I think this is one of the biggest challenges, because I think a challenge could also be, being very informed of different medical how do I say this, medical problems, arthritis, knee issues, lots of stuff, diseases, sicknesses, that clients can have. But it's also like, now I think that, going back, I'm a certified ACE personal trainer. When I was studying to be a personal trainer, I was like, what? Like, I feel like I was training to be a doctor. I was like, do I have to learn so much about this? And now it makes sense. Like, once you're out there, you're training people, you're like, no wonder. That's why I keep my PT book from ACE very close by. And since this happened, I think I'm gonna start buying more books on personal training, because maybe, definitely this is part of, like, the growth of a trainer, that we need to constantly learn, because that's the only way we're gonna be better trainers. So everything has been going great, but I've just had two occasions, and I'm not gonna say names, nothing. I'm just gonna say, a client. I had a client. This client was a psychologist, I believe, and everything was good at the beginning. Like, she was telling me everything that she needed to, to do. Like, everything was great. Like, oh my god, we had a really good chemistry. We were like working great. And then later I started to like feel like she was telling me how to train her. And she was always telling me that I needed to push her a little bit more, which I did. She wanted a harder workout, but there would be times where I would tell her, okay, let's do like 20 repetitions on this exercise, and she would be like only doing like 10 or 8 without even saying anything. I would just look and I'd be like, okay, I told her 15 or 20 and she'd be doing less. So I was like, okay, even body language can tell you a lot about a client. So I was like, maybe she's not ready, but at the same time, she's telling me to push her. So I'm like, okay, what? I was trying to, make it work. And then later, there will be times that she would schedule a session with me, and she'd be like, Maria, where were you? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she'd be like, oh, I was here the other day and you weren't here, but we had a session and you never came. And I was like, what? Like, on my schedule, I never had a session with her. So that was kind of weird. And like little things like that was kind of weird. And it wasn't really like my fault, because if I would have her on the schedule, I would see it. But then later things got worse because she started like literally doing what I was not telling her, like with the workouts. Like she would be doing something different, and I would tell her like do a squat with the ball, and she would be doing something else. And then later it got really bad because we would put weight like on the machines, and then she would be doing her own weight, like whatever she wants. She'll be changing like the weight all the time, like just changing it. And I'm required to write in a book everything that I do with clients, and then I wasn't even able to do it because she was like changing so much weight. How do I write? You know, if you're doing 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 20 pounds, if you keep changing it, there's only so much space in the book, and you're not supposed to be doing that. You know, like she was just treating me like somebody that didn't know what I was doing. And I don't know what the heck happened there, but I am calm, I am patient, but if you push my buttons, I am gonna, defend myself. So I did tell her, like, from all this time, this year that I've been a trainer, I have never had this happen. And you're the only client that is doing this. Like, you're not even supposed to be doing this at all. We're supposed to communicate. You should tell me, this weight is not too heavy for me. Let's change it and let's try it. But she was just like crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but it wasn't working out between me and her. And I have a personality that, yeah, like I'm very calm, like I said. But if you push my buttons, like, I get mad. So then like this lady, like I told her, like I was like, okay, whatever, we were done with the workout. And then I said, all right, have a good day. And I left. And I was like, oh my God, I wish that she like would never ever like get me again as her trainer, because like the way she would make me feel, it was just like it was not professional too, like I said. Yeah, you do get close to these clients, but at the same time I always kept it professional. I always kept it like, I'm your trainer, you're my client, and I'm there to give you a good workout. And I try to be a really good trainer. I try to individualize, just like as a teacher. When I had my students, you cannot treat the kids as like they are like one. You gotta do it like, this person needs this, this kid needs more help on the reading, this one needs more help on writing, he gets more distracted, so let's move him more forward. Like little things like that. As a teacher, I felt like I was like doing my best job, that I like a good job. But the same thing with clients. You cannot see them all as one. You gotta see each client as like an individual, and you gotta meet their needs to whatever they are wanting, their desire, their goals, whatever. But I feel like that wasn't working out. The way that she was making me feel, it was like I would be mad. Like every time I had a session with her, I would not it was just like such a bad vibe. And you might not believe this, but I'm really good at catching vibes. And the vibes that she gave me was just like weird, like terrible, like I don't know, like it was just not, we did not have chemistry no more. And then I heard that she had trouble with another trainer in the past, and I was like, really? Like I thought it was only me, but she has been having trouble with another trainer in the past. So thank God that girl, that lady, she left. I never saw her again. I wish that she would like change her behavior if she ever gets another trainer, because at the end, I think the reason most of us become trainers is because we want to help. We want to help you guys, and yeah. So that was that. She was just not the perfect fit for me. We did not get along, and it was just really, really bad vibes. And the way that she would talk, it was just a little bit disrespectful, and her actions as well. And like, how can you ask me to push you more when at the same time I'm trying to push you and you are not doing what I'm telling you? You're doing even less reps than what I'm saying, like I'm telling you to do. So I feel like the communication between the trainer and the client should be very clear and open, because if not, you're like, what did I do wrong? Or what's going on? Why, this is happening? Like, you really question yourself, and you're like, what's going on? Because another thing that is challenging, not as hard, but it is challenging and it's like a little bit tough to go through, is the fact that let's say you train a client, or you train a few clients, and then they end up going to another trainer. Like, like what happened? You're like, okay, like didn't you like my trainer? You never told me anything, and then you end up going to another trainer. You think that you guys are a good fit, they're getting good work because you see that the client is happy, but at the same time, I don't know if it's my mistake. Maybe I should be constantly asking them like, hey, how are you feeling? How was this work? Was this tough? Was this good? I don't know. Another challenge is also to keep the workouts like fun. Like you're gonna keep it fun, because even for my Pilates class or my yoga class, I try to sometimes to change it up. Let's not start standing. Let's start sitting down. Let's do a longer meditation or whatever. You try to make it fun, which is sometimes hard because routine, especially if you're busy at home, there's just so many things that can get through your way of like planning to make a better class or a better session. Now the second client, this is recently, that's why I decided, I was like, no, this is the time to make this video, because it's been in my mind. I've been wanting to make a video about the challenges. So that's maybe a second challenge, the fact that you do train somebody, and or maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and then the person's up going with another trainer. You're like, what happened? Like, weren't you my client? And now you're with another person, and you see that they are a better fit. And sometimes that's kind of hard, because maybe, this is immaturity. Maybe I feel like I should be more mature, but at the same time, it makes you feel like you suck. Like, why did the client left you? And when I talk to my family members, sometimes they say, of course, you're not gonna be liked by everybody. Maybe your training is different, the style is not gonna be liked by everybody. And that's true, because not everybody that takes my class, my yoga and Pilates class, is gonna like it. There's gonna be people that are gonna be like, oh, maybe this is not for me. Maybe they find it too easy, they find it too hard, but I don't know. So that's just, as a trainer, you need to become like kind of like a rock, like don't let those little things bother you, because if they bother you, they're gonna really like mess you up, like emotionally. Like it messes you up, because you're like, you start to feel like, what did I do wrong? You start to question yourself, like what's going on. But at the same time, maybe it has nothing to do with you. It's just the fact that maybe they click with another trainer, or that they get along better with them, or maybe they just don't like you. Like, we don't even know why. But yeah, so the third thing I wanted to talk to you about was I did had a client that we got to know each other a lot. She also had like that type of attitude that she was kind of telling me how to train her. Like, if you know how to train yourself, don't get a personal trainer. Like, if you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna start working out, but I don't want a trainer, like, just go and do your own workouts. But sometimes people want a trainer, but at the same time they want to work like they want. If you're gonna get a trainer, you gotta follow your trainer's advice and whatever they're telling you, because that's why they studied. And like I said, we study hard. Like, being a personal trainer is not even easy. So yeah, this other client, we got to have a close relationship. I was helping her a lot, and she did have some medical issues. I remember she even said that she had some mental issues. Yeah, like she had depression, she had something else physically going on. I don't want to get into that, but at the same time, she was telling me she was not losing weight. And then I'm like, but you're not doing your cardio. Usually my clients do some cardio, and then they meet with me and they go back to either doing cardio or weight training. But this client, she was an older client, she was not doing what she was supposed to. And then she was complaining, saying that she's not losing weight with me. At the end, she ended up having another trainer. And just the way that she made it seem is like, she was like, I had the best training of my life, making it seem like my training wasn't good enough. But again, as a trainer, you gotta be tough. Don't let those little things get at the end. Those people are not even worth it getting mad about, because you're doing the best you can, and that's what's important. Do the best you can as a trainer, and then you feel good about yourself. That's all I can tell you guys. So basically, my main message for you guys, if this is happening to me, like, I don't have a lot of like connections with other trainers, so I don't know if they're also feeling like this. So I feel like, maybe this is just me going through this. But yeah, like, that's one of the challenges. Like, who would think, right? Because I was never a trainer in the past, so like, this is new for me. Like, I was a teacher, I was an instructor. Those has been, like, yeah, my only jobs, like a teacher and instructor. But as a trainer, like, you do get close to your clients, and the way that I get close to them, I get very close to them in a way that I can care for them, that I like, I even like, as a trainer, like we even talk about sleep, we talk about stress levels, we talk about if they're taking vitamins, we talk about if they're taking protein, if they're taking what is it, like if they're drinking enough water. Like I go very deep. I'm not just a trainer that is gonna like train you like for 25 minutes and then bye. No, like I'm a trainer that I'm even gonna sometimes even text you, like if you are interested in something, I'll text you and be like, hey, like this is what we talked about. So I feel like in a way I don't deserve like sometimes this type of treatment from this clients, because thank God I haven't had a lot. It's just two that I feel like I got to know good, and we had a good workout routine, and at the end it didn't work out. So yeah, so maybe this is also a message for myself, because maybe I'll watch this video later on, and I'll just maybe understand maybe how hard this is for me, because I was talking to my family members and they were just saying, life is like that. Like you just gotta deal with it. At work you find really difficult people, so why wouldn't you find this at the gym? And I was like, oh my god, like maybe yeah, it's just my personality. Maybe I'm not used to this type of I don't want to call it rejection, but this type of treatment, that sometimes you're training with me and then you go with other trainers, or that you are training with me and we are good, everything's going well, and then you end up saying like, oh, like this is not working out. Like I train with another trainer, or I train with your director, and your director gave me the best workout of my life. Like just trying to like demean like what I did, like just try to minimize everything that I've done for you. Like I'm very patient, like especially with this last client, that the one that I told you, the last client I had. She was just like ungrateful, because I only have 25 minutes to train most of my clients, and if I stay longer with you, if I stay like maybe 20 more minutes, 30 minutes, even a total of an hour, like wouldn't you be grateful? Because I'm giving you my time more than what I am being paid, for. So I think that's the hardest part. And today I just felt like, because this happened today, and I was like this, it's just so ungratefulness in the world. And I understand that mean people, evil people, or like anybody, like can be anywhere, it's not just at work, but just going through it's hard, because you have good intentions, you have you want the best for your clients. And then when this happens, maybe like I said, I'm just new as a personal trainer. I'm not used to this type of confrontation that you have with clients, and that sometimes clients don't even tell you how they're feeling, and then they'll be like hiding, like maybe they're hiding that, like, oh, I don't like Maria's workout, and they're not telling you, and then things like this happen, that they end up like complaining about you, or like even going with other trainers, or just canceling the sessions of the gym completely, like the training sessions, and they're just quitting. And that's like something we don't want. We don't want our clients to quit. But that's it. This is the video of today. I hope that this was helpful. If you are thinking of becoming a trainer, like it is very rewarding. Like I love my job. I think I love being a trainer more than I loved being a teacher. Even though I'm still teaching, like it's not the same though, because kids can be bad nowadays. Kids are not the same that they used to be before. So but I'm very grateful. I thank God for this job and the opportunity that I get to help a lot of my clients. I'll definitely be making more videos on training and my experience as a trainer. But yeah, like it doesn't mean that all my clients give me a headache. No, most of my clients are wonderful. Like I can say 95% of my clients are amazing. Most of the time, when they're finishing their package, or their training sessions, and they're leaving me, they would say, it has been a pleasure, Maria, working with you. And I would tell them, everything that they have to do. Our goal is for them to still come to the gym, to still train on their own. And I feel like my training sessions is just a preparation for them. So when they're alone, they'll be able to do whatever they do with me. So it's just giving them the tools to keep coming to the gym and have a healthier life. So I will see you on my next video. Have a wonderful day. Stay positive no matter what happens. I feel, this is also a lesson for me. sometimes, giving it your all at work or whatever, even in a relationship, and sometimes people just don't take you seriously sometimes, or maybe they are not the right ones. Maybe they're not the right ones to appreciate what you're doing for them, but it's still, at the end, you want to do what works for you, and at the end, have good intentions, have a good heart, do everything with love, and just keep caring for your clients. Even if we have ungrateful ones, you will see that, almost 90% of your clients are going to be grateful. And yes, I'll see you on my next video. Have a wonderful day or night. God bless you. Bye.